Good morning, legends. Welcome to the Fomc Aftermath. I have a confession to make. The guys in the Discord have turned me into a different woman, and I actually stayed up last night for this live price action. They told me to lead by example, and my answer was leading by example is going to be setting a limit order with good risk management and a good stop loss and going to bed. And then I did the exact opposite and then I stayed up. But it wasn't my fault. I got stuck into a trance, and I'm sure you've been through this, of going through my emails and deleting all the junk mail. I had about 4,000, maybe more emails to go through. You know what it's like when you get started? You just want to go through every single one and unsubscribe to everything that you don't ever even remember subscribing to in the first place. And I got stuck in this unsubscribe trance, and before I knew it, it was 2 a.m. Melbourne time, and it was 2 hours till the FOMC meeting. And I figured, well, if I've made it this far, I might as well stay up for the rest. And then it hit 4 a.m. and then I realized the advertised time was wrong and they didn't actually do the announcement till 4:30. So I did almost an all-nighter, and I'm here today. I recorded a lot of the live price action for you last night so that we can talk about it today. So that's what we're going to get into. This is going to be more of a lesson on the heat maps in the moment. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. So if you're new here, welcome. Returning, welcome back. If you're from the Discord, we're not friends today because I'm tired. And on that note, it is the beginning of the month, so it is the most perfect time to join the Discord. If you've been thinking about it for a while, joining at the beginning of the month means that you won't get double charged by Patreon. So if you've been watching me for a while and you've been thinking about it, just head to the link in the description of this video and check out the package options for you there. The first class tier is where we study the market maker method and heat maps in detail, and you can hang out with people that are talking trading 24/7. We've got people from all over the world, which is so insane to me and makes me so grateful that we have a platform like YouTube that allows people like me to be able to reach the world from my home office. So I'm going to play some video footage from last night and talk you through exactly what was happening in the moment. So let's get into it. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and as always, leave a comment below. Let's see if we can beat all the spam bots with genuine comments before they come in with their fake comments. All right, so this first video that I shot, now this was right before the actual announcement. It was about half an hour before the announcement, and have a look at those short orders coming in full and strong in anticipation of there being bad news. We had this 1.1k at around 38,200 that sat there in the order books for quite some time. So as you can see, their price was pushing up. We were having a little bit of a retracement on the chart there. You can see price holding at a level, and there was a big battle going on between buyers and sellers. The orders that we're really looking out for here, this, what I'm showing you on screen right now, is AgriTrade. I'll put it on the screen if you ever want to watch it. It's showing you the larger orders across all exchanges. And so you can see there we've got price pumping up, but we have these limit orders that were sitting there. They're around that box area there. They were sitting there for the entire time. The goal would be that once Jerome came out, if he happened to give any bad news, it would spike price down to pick up those large orders that were sitting there at around the 38.2 and then shoot sharply back up. However, Bitcoin just held in that one candle for a really long time, and it didn't seem to be going anywhere. See those flashing orders there of 1.6 million? Those are the big kind of orders that we're looking for to see what is the big money trying to do right now. And if you look at it, that candle is going nowhere. We've got wick to the top, wick to the bottom, and it's literally staying in the same place, even though we have those short orders there at 1.4 million, and there were some long orders there as well, just basically holding price still. Now you can see up the top there's some short orders at around 500 kind of level, and we still have the long orders from the bottom. So see these big orders, see the 2 million, the 1.1 million, those sort of orders there, they're trying to push price down to pick up those orders that were waiting at the bottom. This is all before the announcement, so they were preempting what was going to come out and which direction it was going to send price. And see here, look at these big ones, bigger orders now, 1.6 million, nearly nearly 2 million. And now you can see those orders below price start to build up. They've put in some levels above just in case we don't get all the way down there. But at this point in time, they were still banking on bringing price down before they pushed it back up. Now let's go to what happened as the actual news came out. Okay, so you can hear him in the background. This is as he came on to go live and he starts talking about inflation being way too high. See all those large orders below? That was right before he came out. Now we're just sitting on our hands waiting to see what he's saying. Above those 1.1k orders now, we have more short orders a little bit higher. Look at those big $1 million short orders there, trying to send price down in anticipation of what he's going to say. Now we're about 3 minutes into the speech, and so far he hasn't said anything that has been terrible for the markets. You can see there that the long orders below price are still waiting there, still building at that level. Above price, there isn't much expecting price to push up to shoot it down yet. This was now 4:34 Melbourne time, so it was a few minutes into the actual announcement going live. Those 576 right where price is, that is where price was holding and trying to eat through those orders before it could get down. Look at that $8 million short order there, the $6 million short order. They're trying to send price down to pick up those long orders that are already waiting. They were already preempting the move. They were trying to bring it down and cause volatility before turning it around and sending it right back up. But in reality, price really wasn't going anywhere. Now, this is coming towards the end of the speech and the long orders start coming in. We didn't make it down to that low yet. They were unable to push it all the way down. But towards the end of the meeting, not so bad news. They wanted to then push price back up from that point. Look at that $8.6 million long, $2.3 million long. All of the big long orders started coming in towards the end of this speech. But what mattered more than that was the press conference. You can see here, big spike up now from here. And look at the volume coming on that candle down the bottom on that volume bar. And now we're moving into the press conference where the real truth comes out, because it's not a rehearsed speech and the media can ask whatever they want. So this is where sometimes he can trip up and that can cause volatility or potentially a change in the direction of price depending on what he answers to these questions. So you can see here that the orders are mostly turning green now at this point. You got some big orders there, you got the volume there, and at this point in time we want to start to look at the leverage in high block to see, is this encouraging people to open long positions? Are we starting to build that leverage that the market maker need? Where are we kind of sitting? How high up can the market maker push this price? What liquidity is available to them above current price? By this point in time, we're sitting at 39,330. And so this is high block showing that liquidity sitting at around 40,500 is the biggest zone that they can shoot price up to at this point in time. There were levels below that as targets, but what we want to see now is, are there short orders coming in at around those levels? Maybe they're coming up to pick up that liquidity before they then reverse price. Now you can see these short orders building above price, and if we look at that highest one there at 843, that is sitting at around, I believe it was $40,000. So we're getting close to the top of that liquidation level, and the short orders that were sitting there below price were now removed. All right, now by this time we were nearing the end of the press conference and there wasn't anything that was too damaging. I also realized right at around this time that the more tired I get, the smarter I get, and what I should just do is flip my phone sideways so we can fit the whole thing on the screen. Thank you, I know. It's very intelligent. I'd like to thank Kanye. But now we can see everything that's going on. Look at that volume on the bottom left-hand side starting to grow now. That was the sign they're trying to push it up. I've got the Binance shorts there marked on the chart there on the left. Those are the highest levels that you can see match up with the heat map on the right. They were trying to push price up. Look at those long orders coming in the middle. They're trying to push price up to that 1K level. They'd also got themselves covered up to, it was about 40,500 500 was that top order there that you're seeing at 529. And you can see that we wicked up in close to the first one at 39,820. That was the first short order there, little wick. And then we start to see that pullback as those orders are getting filled. Look at those 4.9 million shorts coming in, but we still have the 1.1K sitting up a little bit higher. I think that was around 39,950 or something like that. Looking at the high block at this point in time, look at all those red, yellow, pink circles now. This move has encouraged people to open the long positions. All those people who opened long positions last night and still had them are now at risk of being liquidated when the market maker sharply turns price the other way if they don't take profits, because all that liquidity is now available to them. And we have to look at what is above price. How much further can the market maker push this price now before he's taken out the maximum amount of liquidity above price and then has to reverse it back the other way? So this is his last strong push, trying to push that price up to grab the rest of that liquidity. How magical is it that the liquidity we identified at 40,500 just happens to line up with the highest short orders in the heat maps right now? Now you can see there was getting eaten into, so it was 40,050 was the 1K orders, now coming down to 700 as they're getting eaten into. You can kind of see the chart there on the top left hand side. We have wicked into those two areas that I marked, and then you can now see that the orders that were at around 40,500 are growing to 620 now. The shorts are coming in to try and reject price at this level. The volume is tapering off, if you can see there on the bottom left hand side. And so now if you can see the candles there over on the left, we had the two green candles. That was super high volume that was required to push price up. And then we have the blue one. That's showing that it's still high volume, but the high volume is weakening. It's less than the candles previously. So we're pretty close to reaching a top. Now those orders have come down to 500 as most of them have been filled. We're coming towards the end of the press conference now. Look at that now, that 40,500 now climbed to 708 there. That's now becoming the level that they want to reject at. That's the liquidity that they have available. They can't really go too much higher than that at this point in time. We can see price weakening as it's pushing up with the blue candle on the left. We can see no more huge long orders coming in on agri trade, and we can then also see on the heat maps the highest level in which we could expect a rejection. Now below this 716 there were other orders. You can see there the three red lines. So it doesn't mean we're going to go all the way up to 40,500 at this point in time. It just means that those are the levels there showing that they're now trying to short, and they've switched the narrative from sending price down to pick up longs to now sending price up to pick up shorts. See down there the volume on the bottom left hand side, you had the two green bars there and now it's blue. So that's showing you it's still bullish at this point in time, but it's not as high volume as it was before. Now the meeting is now over. The announcement has literally just finished at this time. This is the new candle. They got to that major level that they had planned at around 39,950, just touched on the 40K, and now we can see a rejection start to happen. So that was the price action live last night. You can see there very clearly that the market makers had a narrative. Originally going into the meeting, they wanted to send price down, pick up some long orders below price, and then shoot it up. As the announcement came out and it wasn't what they were expecting, and it was actually not such bad news, they decided to go the other way and shoot price up, take out the liquidity above. Their limit orders went from below price to now above price at the highest levels that they could, filled all of those, and then slowly now are starting to bring price down. So let's take a look at where we are right now. Just focusing on Bitcoin up here. This was what we had marked out yesterday as a potential option to happen. Fake rally before further downside. When you look on the daily, that whole move up is not so big right now, but it is presenting a positive shift out of this downtrend. We still need a retest, but at this point in time, it is giving us a hint that this M formation 3 rise drop has played out out, moved into the consolidation. This is the attempted shift out. We do need now a retest to confirm it, and then we may see some upside, and maybe this is going to be the start of the midweek reversal. Let's dive deeper into Bitcoin. So this was the Bitcoin chart from last night. We had a W pattern that formed in the dead gap zone before yesterday's session started, before the Asian session started. Asian session ran a slow trend. London continued the trend and then went into consolidation. And as usual, the US bought in the volatility. This level here was where the original shorts were before the meeting. And this is the wick here showing that they were trying to get down into that zone, but they didn't make it all the way there before the announcement came out. And then once Jerome started speaking, they decided to shift out to the upside instead. These were where the original short orders are at the highest level. We peaked right into that. And this is the 40,500 that I was talking about earlier that we didn't yet make it to. So what are we looking at now? What we know for sure is we have a W formation here. We could also pretty much bank on this here being rise level 1 and this at the very least being rise level 2. Now, is this a rise level 2 and 3 and we should now be looking for a reversal, or is there a rise level 3 coming? We need to have a look at a few things to see what's possible. Number one, do we have any news plays? Let's have a look at Forex Factory. Now, it looks like here we do have some more news tonight, which is not fun. We have got the monetary policy report coming out of the Bank of England. So it looks like this is UK session news today, this entire section. So this is 9 p.m. Melbourne time. Need to convert it to your own time. And then even tomorrow, there's more. There's non-farm employment change and unemployment rate. I think we already know about that because that was spoken about at the FOMC meeting announcement already. So this is probably the one to watch out for. And pending on whether or not this is good news, this could cause the level 3 rise before rejection. And that may take us up to the 40,500 they were trying to get us to last night. But let's see, is that liquidity still available to them? Let's go over to high block. Now, whilst I'm resetting high block, if you want to get a better understanding of how high block works, I have done a full video on this on my channel explaining every detail of it. I'll link it here somewhere for you in case you haven't seen it and want to watch it. And if you want to get your own subscription to it, be sure to check out the link in the description down below because there is a discount available for you there. It's not that cheap. If you don't want to get it, then just come and join us over in the Discord because these things are provided for you every day in there. So instead of paying 10 subscriptions to 10 different websites, you can just come join us in Discord and I'll post it all for you when important things happen. So look at this delta now. We have switched to the green side. It is at 13 billion. Like to see that. We have been at a very boring 6 and 3 billion for a couple of days before. We had a lot of white patches between price. So people were getting liquidated close to price, but nothing else was happening. No major shift. We need to get up into the teens to see potential major shift. However, 13 billion is not high enough for the kind of major shift that is going to give us a very good market maker trade. So there's more room in this is the moral of the story. We could potentially keep pushing price up from here, get that delta up to around 20 billion. And at that point is where we'd see a rejection. This level here that was pointed out last night is still sitting there at still 40,537. That is 121 million to be liquidated if price gets up there. Not to mention all of the other little dots around it that would add up to, a fair amount more than that as well. Not too much above that price, however, as you can see there. So that's looking like the top for me potentially. What I would want to see based off this today is the market maker go back into the boardroom. The boardroom's going to give us a hint of whether they want to take one more leg up or reverse price from here. Let's talk about the boardroom. So as we're now entering into the Asian session, it is likely that we're going to go into the boardroom anyway because that's what the Asian session does. It sets the high and the low of the day. Too early for me to be able to mark that out yet because the Asian session has not even started, but let's go with the dead gap zone high and low so far. So this is the range that we're dealing with right now. What we need to see is the Asian session open up. Now just a reminder, these colored columns on the back of my chart are the session times mapped out. No matter where you live in the world, you can add it to your chart. You don't need to change the time zone down here. This will always say to New York. If you're looking for this indicator, just go up to indicators, write in the word session and look for this one, market maker session times by trade, travel, chill, and you can add them to your chart, and that way you don't ever have to do time conversions or anything like that again. It's very easy for you to know what session you're in. So what we want to see now is the Asian session set the high and the low of the day. Once that is done, we want to then assess that high and low of the day right before the UK session starts. And we want to have a look, do we have wicks like this to the upside, encouraging people to open long positions? If we get a few wicks throughout the Asian session to the high, then come close to end of Asian session, potentially UK session open, we then want to see a spike to the low. The spike to the low is going to be the stop hunt before the rise that potentially brings us up to this 40,500 level. Now that could happen in the Asian session as well. Asian session could run another slow trend like it did here yesterday, but generally the Asian session just sets the high and the low of the day and UK starts the trend. So we may get fake outs to the upside to encourage longs, stop hunt down here to take them all out, take their liquidity. That will give the market maker the strength and the power to then push to the upside to get to around that 40,500 level final target. Failing that, what we then need to look for is a potential M pattern formation. That's going to tell us that these two here was rise 2 and 3 already, or potentially even this was 2 and this was 3, and now we're looking for a reversal. So at some point during the Asian session or even into UK, potentially even US, if they just decide to consolidate for a really long period of time, what we're going to be looking for is out of a consolidation, an M formation to form. Wherever it is in price, it doesn't matter. Even if it comes up here today first or stays here, it doesn't matter. We're just looking for this formation. Don't attach yourself to what price this is going to happen at. Just look for the formation. So if we get this lower high, then what we're going to know is that whoever longed up here at this peak here is now trapped. The market maker is trapping them, brings price up close but not close enough for them to get out at break even, then reverses. So those are your two things to look for today. Boardroom, sideways action, wicks to the high, usually about 3 throughout a session. Stop hunt, that's going to give you a hint. We're doing one more rise. And then if we do that rise and we get to the 40,500, that's where we start to look for the M formation, right? It's the same thing regardless of price. A reversal will follow this at some point. An M is easier to identify. An M is easy to identify on a 15-minute time frame. If you're wanting to swing trade it, you'd wait for it on a 1-hour time frame. A 5-minute time frame can be tricky. You got to remember, the smaller the time frame you go, the less your chance of getting it right. So 15-minute time frame is the sweet spot to look for something like this. Okay, so now that we know what we're looking for, let's take a look at the heat maps, see if that's telling us anything interesting. Over here, we still have, let me refresh this and make sure. Over here, we still have orders there. We still have 705 Bitcoin worth of orders at 40,500 on the Binance chart alone. That is a good sign. We also have these orders down here at 39,250. That tells me that this could be a level, could be maybe a retracement either at the Asian session, the UK session, who knows, but this could be a retracement level before they come up for that last high. We have got these orders here currently trying to hold price at 39,650. We may just go sideways from here. That may be enough to hold it. It doesn't necessarily mean we're coming down to that 39,200. This might be enough to send us into sideways consolidation for the entire day, hold the range, and then once that volatility comes in on the UK or the US session, we come up for that last one. But you got to keep in mind that this could also be in anticipation of the UK news, just like the orders that we saw last night in anticipation of the FOMC. So when that news comes out and when those sessions open, you have to reassess this. There's also people people down here in anticipation, hoping for a big drop down to 38,250. Those orders are still there. They were there last night as well. So potential for major swings. Need to reassess these levels. If you do want trading light for yourself, there is a link in the description of this video. If not, be sure to follow me on Twitter, because I do post the updates in between these videos when I think there's something important for you to know. Be sure to grab my social media links from the description of my videos, because there are so many scam accounts out there pretending to be me. I don't want you to get scammed by the wrong one, so be sure to only use the links in the description of this video. All right, guys, I think that's all I have for you today. This is my last update for the week. Make sure you stay safe. Remember, wicks tell you the story of where the market maker is trying to send price. Don't try to trade against the market maker, trade with them. That's how you win. Have the most amazing day. I'm going back to bed. No, I'm not. I'm going to get my nails done. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week.